It's like a proper movie. How cool is that, man? Bloody hell. Yes, it did take me some time to finally get round to seeing some Sabaton music videos. Partly that was because I wanted to understand their music, their style, and all that kind of stuff. Additionally, I love delving into history myself, so I was doing my own kind of history analysis. But, of course, I finally did watch a couple of Sabaton music videos recently. 1916, Yamato. Absolutely brilliant, man. Absolutely brilliant. And for all the hype that you Sabaton fans have sold the music, but also the music videos of the band, hey, it lived up to expectations, for sure. So I know that you Sabaton fans have had incredible patience over the few months that I've been with this channel and reacting to new music, or new to me. And since I did the Yamato reaction, a lot of you were commenting about this next particular track and this next particular music video because it was kind of related with Yamato, I suppose. Bismarck. Yes, the mighty Bismarck. I think anybody with a little bit of knowledge on World War II will have heard about the mighty German battleship, the Bismarck. And actually, when you think about it, I think the Bismarck has almost become legendary, isn't it? You know. Now, there is something quite interesting, actually, that one of you guys mentioned. Now, I was told that the bass player of Sabaton, now, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, because there's an umlaut over the first A in his name. So it's P-A-R with an umlaut. I don't know if it's Pa or Per. And his surname is Sundström or Sundstrom. Again, there's another umlaut, so apologize if the pronunciation isn't quite there. So Pa is apparently a real battleship buff. He absolutely loves the subject. All right, boys and girls, back into battle with Sabaton. Okay. Okay. What's happening here?
Which blew up the mighty battle cruiser Hood.
I recognize those camouflage slacks. Joachim.
So, did you find the boat?
There's an eerie tolling of a bell. What are they doing, actually? Gearing up for something. That's a unique stage set. On the back of a... what's it? A fishing trawler, I guess? That's the Bismarck. It's like a ghost ship. Cool melody. Oh, here we go. Whoa. That's the British, right? God, it's real cinematic action, man. This is like proper Sabaton storytelling, isn't it? The chorus. It's like a proper movie. How cool is that, man? Bloody hell.
At the bottom of the ocean, the depths of the abyss, they are bound by iron and blood. The flagship of the Navy, the terror on the seas, his guns have gone silent.
Joachim, rolling his R's. Oh, cool. That's the Royal Navy looking on, isn't it? As the Bismarck. Ooh. There's a lot of keyboard layers in this, isn't there? This is a really cool melody, this section, man. The Sabaton chorus always doubles as a chant. Hey! Oh, these are fantastic visuals. And they're rescuing the German sailor. That the eerie war knows no nation. It's dedicated to those the Battle of the Atlantic. The Battle of the Atlantic. That's actually quite poignant for me as well. I mentioned in the 1916 reaction. My grandfather was a submariner in World War II. He was actually given the Atlantic Star by the Royal Navy for serving in the Atlantic campaign. Before he was, I mean, the Royal Navy was posted all over the world, but he was in the Atlantic. In those early 40s. Around the same time, and then he was in the Pacific later, before the end of the war, and seeing that image in the film, the music video of the German sailor being pulled out of the water by the Royal Navy, I distinctly remember my grandfather. He had respect for the German Navy and their sailors, which I know might feel strange for us who've never fought in a war, but he really had respect for them. And I think that was normal. I think the Germans reciprocated. I think there was this this respect that they gave each other, despite the fact that they were essentially trying to kill each other, right? And like I said, that last part, when you see the German sailor being hauled out, it kind of drives home the humanity that can be found during conflict. I mean, of course, there's also the utter tragedy of lives lost, of course, you know. But yeah, man, this song is straight up Sabaton. Hey, it's like I said, the chorus, Sabaton choruses always come across almost like a chant, a call to arms. And I think that's partly due to the fact that Joachim's vocals just lend to that. He's just perfect for that that emotion, that drive, right? And there's like a solid marching tempo that essentially goes all the way through, you know. It's not really even that heavy because of the keyboard layers. But having said that, it is still a powerful guitar-driven song, which I suppose is not easy to do that, you know. And I've got to say, the solo in this was really cool. And yeah, the melody change or the melody around the chorus, yeah, it was really good. And what can you say about the video? Sabaton, they go full in, man. They really do. Like pure cinematic, incredibly polished, as if you're watching a proper movie. Hey, so Sabaton really take care of this in both the musical and visual experience, and yeah, that's impressive, man. And do you know what's cool? And I don't know whether I've mentioned this before. I always repeat myself, and I'm never entirely sure what I've said in the past, but it always seems like Sabaton, when they sing and narrate about a conflict, they never take sides, huh? You know, there's never a one-sided propaganda, you know, the good guys or the bad guys, or the bad guys and the good guys. It's like they shine a light on everyone involved, because there are victims on both sides, there are heroes on both sides, and it's the politicians that create the wars, right? The common soldier is just told what to do, you know, or common sailor in this case. So, for those unfamiliar with the Bismarck, just in case, I want to check the lyrics, and while we check the lyrics, we can also check a little bit about the history of the Bismarck. Okay. So, the Bismarck. Let's bring up the lyrics. Here we go. From the mist a shape, a ship is taking form. Actually, that's in the music video. You see it coming out, right? Like a ghost ship. And the silence of the sea is about to drift into a storm. Sign of power, show of force. Raise the anchor, battleship plotting its course. Yeah, battleship plotting its course. Now that's a key thing in the whole Bismarck story. So, yeah, in May 1941, the Bismarck took part in something called Operation Reinebung. Okay? Now, it was an operation. The Nazis wanted to disrupt the Allied shipping routes that essentially kept Britain alive during the Second World War. So disrupting its shipping routes, I suppose, the military, but also Britain was getting a lot of help with resources and all sorts of different stuff from the US, right? That's why the U-boats were used as well in the Atlantic. So this was an operation that the Bismarck was part of a fleet of ships that would go out to do that. Now, Bismarck left Gottenhafen, which is today the port of Gdynia in modern-day Poland. So I guess that was part of Nazi Germany at the time. And it went on, okay? So as we look at the lyrics again, pride of a nation, a beast made of steel, Bismarck in motion, king of the ocean. Yeah, now apparently it was a very impressive ship, beast made of steel. And, okay, these are the actual stats. Bismarck displaced 41,700 ton, okay, when it was built, and displaced 50,300 ton when it was fully loaded. Okay. It had an overall length of 251 meters, which is in imperial 823 feet and 6 inches. The beam of the ship, so essentially the beam is the width at the widest part, was 36 meters, so 118 feet wide. And its maximum draft, the draft being the amount of boat under the water that you can't see, was 9.9 meters, or 32 feet 6 inches. The battleship, the Bismarck, was Germany's largest warship and displaced more than any other European battleship during World War II. So yeah, a beast made of steel. It was a beast, all right. He was made to rule the waves across the 7 seas, to lead the war machine, to rule the waves and lead the Kriegsmarine. Kriegsmarine being the navy of Nazi Germany, the terror of the seas, the Bismarck and the Kriegsmarine. 2,000 men and 50,000 tons of steel set the course for the Atlantic, with the Allies on their heel. So what happened, right? So as I said, the Bismarck went up, or its mission essentially as part of this operation was to disrupt the Allied shipping routes. And it went up via Denmark and Norway, and then made its way round into the Atlantic, right? Now, this is the one thing, okay? Remember, this is a legendary ship, but the Bismarck only conducted one offensive operation. Only one. And it only lasted 8 days. Serious. So, on its way out to the Atlantic, it took part in the Battle of the Danish Strait. And after the sinking of the Royal Navy HMS Hood, Winston Churchill ordered all Royal Navy warships to chase down the Bismarck and another German battleship called the Prince Eugen. They wanted revenge for the sinking of the HMS Hood, which is why it says set the course for the Atlantic with the Allies on their heel. The Allies wanted them. Okay. Firepower, firefight. Battle stations, keep the target steady in sight. Into formation, the hunt has begun. Death and damnation. The fleet is coming. The fleet is coming. Okay, in the early evening of the 24th of May, Bismarck briefly turned round on the pursuers, the Allies. And it was the Prince of Wales, which was a battleship, Royal Navy battleship, and 2 heavy cruisers, the Norfolk and the Suffolk. And by turning round, it created cover so that the Prince Eugen could continue further into the Atlantic. So essentially the Bismarck, I wouldn't say sacrificed itself, but it made this U-turn so that the other ship could get out of there, you know. On the 26th of May, all right, so 2 days after it did this U-turn, The Bismarck was attacked at first by torpedoes from the air, which in the video you see the I think they're biplanes, right? But they were using air torpedoes, or torpedoes dropped down from the air, and so that was how it was first attacked. And that was off the aircraft carrier. I can't remember the name of the aircraft carrier, but it's a famous one, of which I don't know the name. A day later, on the 27th of May, 1941, the Bismarck, after sustaining heavy damage, its 4 main battery turrets, basically where it has its cannons and guns, were out of action, meaning that the Bismarck could no longer fight back. So, the first officer, Hans Oels, who was the only senior surviving officer, he then issued the order to scuttle the ship, to basically sink it themselves, rather than be sunk by the Allies. And they primed charges for the sinking, and then they evacuated the ship. And whilst they did that, the Royal Navy continued to torpedo and fire on the Bismarck, which is why you saw the image of it going over on its side. And again, when we talk about humanity and the loss of life, out of a crew of over 2,200 men, only 114 survived. And the survivors were picked up out of the water, like in the music video. And this was something that I found, which again kind of reiterates what I was saying about my grandfather and how he respected the German Navy. But after the sinking, the British Admiral John Tovey said, I'm quoting, "The Bismarck had put up a most gallant fight against impossible odds, worthy of the old days of the Imperial German Navy. And she went down with her colours flying." Yeah. And in fact, now I'm thinking, I don't know if any of you remember the Red Baron reaction that I did. And I also mentioned the fact that the Red Baron was given a full military funeral by the British when they found his body. Again, mutual respect. Sometimes you think it's just crazy, isn't it, man? But yeah, that was an epic video. Cinematic, exciting. The music was, the keyboards give it a depth as well, right? I suppose it gives it that cinematic feel. Maybe that's why they went heavy with keyboards on this one. But it's, yeah, that was really cool, man. That was very cool. So I really appreciate the recommendation. And yes, we finally got round to it. And it won't be the last. Thanks a lot, guys.